The Chicago Cubs have a new manager this season and a new outlook on finally ending a century of losing. Governor Doug Ducey has made some bold promises to improve education in Arizona, but a growing number of school districts aren't buying it. Today, President Obama proposed tougher rules on financial brokers who may be motivated by collecting fees instead of the best interests of those saving for retirement. Another exciting day of basketball as March Madness continues. The first #1 seed has been eliminated, but the Arizona Wildcats, they're moving on.
Victoria Mendez was released from the hospital earlier this evening. She told me she was driving home from work last night when she saw her son standing on the corner of her street here. So she stopped her car, and what happened next is heartbreaking.
I rolled my passenger window down and I said, "Hey, Hakeem, what's up? How are you doing?" And he popped his head in my window and he says, "I just want to give you a kiss, Mama."
As Victoria Mendez leaned toward her 29-year-old son, Hakeem Shockey, who she hadn't seen in months because of his drug addiction, she says he pulled out a box cutter.
And then he proceeded to get into the car and started stabbing me and slashing at my throat, telling me that he was going to kill me. And then he grabbed within the wound itself that he had created with his bare hands, and he started pulling at my esophagus.
As Mendez fought for her life and screamed for help, she says a neighbor came to her rescue.
And he said, "Stop, I'm going to shoot." He wouldn't stop. He shot him once. It didn't even faze him. He was so high on drugs. And the second shot I heard, he went down.
Mendez is now beginning a painful recovery and mourning the loss of a son she feels she truly lost to crystal meth, not to the man who pulled the trigger.
There was nothing else you could have done. And as sad as I am to lose my boy, you did the right thing. And I thank you for my life.
In Glendale, Rebecca Thomas, CBS 5 News.
My son is very gentle and he's very loving. And he's a good boy. But that thing wasn't him. Even the look in his eye, it was like there was someone else within him. It wasn't him.
But that person was Victoria Mendez's 29-year-old son, likely in a meth-fueled rage, as he slashed and stabbed at her throat until a neighbor came to her rescue and shot him to death Sunday night.
Crystal meth is stealing our kids and turning them into murderers.
Mendez says her son, Hakeem Shockey, struggled with a meth addiction for at least 15 years. According to court records, that same drug had a 20-year grip on Ryan Giroux. The 41-year-old is accused of a shooting spree in Mesa last week. Police say Giroux did not have drugs on him at the time of his arrest, but they're still waiting to find out if he was high.
We've always explained that the symptoms are you are aggressive, you are violent, you can be. It's different in every case.
Stephanie Siete works for Community Bridges, a nonprofit aimed at drug prevention and treatment. She says meth still has a strong hold on Arizona.
It's a really cheaply processed drug. So it's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be available.
And it will always be dangerous. Siete says the addictive, mind-altering drug can cause hallucinations, delusions, and permanent damage.
They're destroying the brain, the physical appearance, everything. That's meth.
Mendez wants other parents to know as long as their kids are using meth, they're in danger too.
Once a delusion takes hold, they could very, very possibly hurt you and you become the victim.
If you or someone you know needs help fighting an addiction to meth, there are many resources here in Arizona. We have put several links on our website. Just visit cbs5az.com. Those who saw the massive brawl at a High Country Walmart say it was utter chaos. A gun battle broke out between police and a group of people accused of assaulting an employee. One officer ended up getting shot, and someone else involved in the fight was killed. CBS 5's Allison Blair has the latest on the investigation. Police say the 31-year-old officer who was shot has been on the force for 10 years. He is expected to make a full recovery. And we're tracking your tomorrow tonight. That's when Governor Ducey could finally call on the state to ditch Common Core standards. Ducey is expected to lay out details of his education agenda while speaking to the State Board of Education. The governor has said in the past he believes Arizona should have its own standards rather than ones based on national standards. Also tomorrow, Senator Ted Cruz will formally announce his presidential bid during a speech at Liberty University in Virginia. Just moments ago, he posted on Twitter, "I'm running for president and I hope to earn your support." Cruz is the first candidate to throw his hat into the ring for what's expected to be a crowded field for the GOP nomination. Fast forward to Wednesday, that's when Wisconsin governor and likely presidential candidate Scott Walker will be in the Valley. He is scheduled to speak at a luncheon hosted by the Arizona Chamber of Commerce. Organizers say the luncheon is part of a leadership series that will feature politicians considering a presidential run. It's been more than 4 months since the White House nominated Loretta Lynch to take over as Attorney General, but she has yet to be confirmed. Senator John McCain says he has no interest in appointing Lynch to the nation's top law enforcement office.
I will not vote for her.
President Obama says Lynch is more than qualified, and he's blasting the Senate for stalling her confirmation. The Senate wants a human trafficking bill to pass the chamber before it schedules a vote on Lynch. March Madness is just heating up. The opening weekend is in the books, and the Sweet 16 is set, but not before more upsets in the NCAA tournament. Joe Pequeno is here with an update. Joe?
Rebecca.
Glendale police need your help to find a man and woman involved in the brutal beating of a security guard. Take a look at this surveillance video from back in December. Police say the attackers made a beer run at the Circle K near 43rd Avenue and Glendale. As the two were leaving, a guard from a nearby strip mall approached them. You're about to see this. You will see a man punching the victim several times in the face. The woman then hits that man while he's on the ground. You saw that right there. The 71-year-old guard suffered several fractures to his face along with a broken jaw. If you recognize that man and that woman or have any information, police do want to hear from you. You can call Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS. You can remain anonymous and may be eligible for a reward. The parents of a 17-year-old girl who'd been missing all day are no doubt relieved. Angelica Provencher has been found safe. Glendale police were worried because she has a diminished mental capacity due to a recent injury and she needs medication. Angelica was evaluated by medics before she returned home. A memorial service will be held tomorrow afternoon for Allison Feldman. She's the 31-year-old Scottsdale woman found murdered inside of her home last month. The service for family and friends begins at 2 o'clock at Congregation Beth Israel. Meantime, Scottsdale police need the public's help to track down Feldman's killer. They say several items are missing from her home, including a silver Tiffany bracelet that looks just like this one.
Something doesn't seem right. Someone you know came into possession of one all of a sudden out of nowhere. Please say something.
If you have any information that can help detectives crack this case, call Scottsdale Police. Fast forward to Wednesday. That's when Wisconsin governor and likely presidential candidate Scott Walker will be in the Valley. He is scheduled to speak at a luncheon hosted by the Arizona Chamber of Commerce. Organizers say the luncheon is part of a leadership series that will feature politicians considering a presidential run. Governor Doug Ducey will also be there. Another exciting day of basketball as March Madness continues. The first #1 seed has been eliminated, but the Arizona Wildcats, they're moving on. Mark McClune is here with more on today's action. Mark? A group of women is making sure dreams come true for high school girls across the state. And in doing so, they're making it a better Arizona. Today, the East Valley Women's League hosted the first of 5 prom dress giveaways. This one took place in Chandler, where high school juniors and seniors had thousands of dresses to choose from, not to mention shoes, purses, and other accessories.
We felt
the next prom dress giveaway happens next Saturday at the East Valley Women League location. That's on McKemey in Chandler, and they'll be open from 9 to 3.
Coming up, a cross-country road trip without a driver. The trek begins tomorrow and could revolutionize the auto industry. Plus, new details tonight after a terrifying attack at a Louisiana airport. What happened to the man who came after TSA agents with a machete? And a fire nearly wipes out an entire family in Brooklyn. What investigators believe is behind this tragedy.